Hello again, weary traveler. I see you're still here. Most would run away in fear, but here you are. Not you. I have to give it to you. Either you're very brave or extremely naive. Regardless, a promise is a promise. A blood oath has to be fulfilled. We have so much to do, so many places to visit, so many lands to explore. Now, are you ready? Well, I hope you are, for this is a tale from a land far away, more ancient than gods and titans, a tale older than the dawn of time itself. In the beginning, there was only chaos. The never-ending oblivion ruled over all. Then out of the formless void sprang forth three more primordial deities, Gaia of Earth, Daughters of the Underworld, and Heirs of Love. Gaia and Chaos were able to procreate, shaping everything known and unknown in the universe. Chaos gave birth to Erebus of Darkness and Nyx of Night, and through their union the rest of the deities emerged. Meanwhile, Gaia gave birth to Uranus, the starry sky. Uranus became Gaia's husband, surrounding her from all sides. Together, they produced three sets of children: the three one-eyed Cyclops, the 300-handed Hecatoncheires, and the 12 Titans. However, Uranus was such a cruel husband and an even crueler father. He hated his children and didn't want to allow them to see the light of the day. So he imprisoned them into the darkest place there is on Earth, Gaia's womb. This angered Gaia, and she plotted with her sons against Uranus. She made a great adamant sickle and tried to incite her children to attack Uranus. All were too afraid except for the youngest Titan, Cronus. Gaia and Cronus set up an ambush for Uranus. As he was preparing to lay with Gaia, Cronus castrated him with the sickle, throwing his severed genitals into the oceans. It is unclear as to what happened to Uranus afterward. He either died, withdrew from the earth, or exiled himself to Italy. From the blood of the fallen tyrant Uranus emerged the giants, the ash tree nymphs, and the Furies. From the sea foam that was produced when his genitals fell into the ocean arose Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty. Cronus then became the next ruler. He imprisoned the Cyclops and the Hecatoncheires in Tartarus, and set the dragoness camp to guard them. He then married the Titaness Rhea, who bore him 5 children. However, Gaia and Uranus had both prophesied that Cronus would eventually be overthrown by one of his sons. So much like his father, Cronus maltreated his children, devouring each of them at the time of birth mercilessly. Rhea, who was very horrified by Cronus's treatment of her children, and just like Gaia before him, plotted against her husband. On the advice of her mother, when it was the time to give birth to her sixth child, Rhea hid herself on Crete, leaving the newborn child to be raised by the nymphs of the island. To conceal her act, Rhea wrapped a stone in swaddling clothes and passed it off as the supposed baby to Cronus, who, unaware of her intentions, swallowed it yet again. The child was no one but Zeus. Raised by the nymphs, he quickly grew into a handsome youth in a cave on the Cretan Mount Ada. When the time came, he left Crete to ask for his future wife, the Titaness Medes, for an advice on how to defeat his father, the tyrant, Cronus. She answered by preparing a drink indistinguishable from Cronus's favorite wine, but designed to make him vomit for ages. Zeus disguised himself as the god's cupbearer, and after a while, successfully slept Medes' drink to Cronus. The plan worked perfectly. Cronus started vomiting and spilled out all of Zeus's 5 siblings. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Rhea's children, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, recognized Zeus as their leader, the new king of the gods, and the ruler of Mount Olympus. However, Cronus was still in command, and yet to be defeated. He was too old to protect himself from the attacks of his children, yet he had the help of his faithful Titans, who also feared the new generation of the gods. This led to a decade-long war between the Titans and the Olympian gods, remembered by generations hence as the Titanomachy. Atlas became the Titans' leader and led his many armies to many victories. At one point, it even seemed that Zeus would have been defeated. However, at the advice of Gaia, he went to Tartarus and released the Cyclops and the Hecatoncheires. In gratitude, the Cyclops provided Zeus with his thunderbolt. They also made a trident for Poseidon and a helmet of invisibility for Hades, making the tables turning in their favor. However, as so many times before, the final victory would not be the result of brute force, but it would happen due to a cunning little trick devised by Prometheus himself. The deserted Titan, deserting the Titan's army beforehand, armed with boulders, Hecatoncheires set an ambush for the Titans. At the right time, Zeus retreated his forces, drawing the Titans into the Hecatoncheires' trap. The 100-handed ones started raining down hundreds of boulders with such a fury that the Titans thought that the mountains were falling down upon them. They ran away, and Zeus could finally consider himself the king of the universe and the ruler of Olympus. Zeus exiled the Titans who had fought against him into Tartarus. He made an exception with Atlas. Though being the leader of the opposing force, he was punished to hold the universe on his shoulders. Zeus's power would be challenged on few occasions afterward. Just after the Titanomachy, his grandmother Gaia, outraged by the imprisonment of her children, issued forth one last child of hers, the monstrous Typhon. He was so fearsome that most of the gods fled the second they saw him. However, Zeus didn't hesitate. He faced the monster and chased him to the corners of the earth. And using the power of his lightning bolts, he was able to defeat it. Typhon was buried onto Mount Etna in Sicily. They say that you can still hear Typhon growling under the volcanoes of Sicily, and that someday, in the distant future, he will return to challenge Zeus once again. After the war between gods and titans was over, Zeus took reign over all creation as the ruler of Mount Olympus, as the king of all Olympic gods. His brother Poseidon took reign over the seas and the 7 oceans with his trident. In Hades, he took the reign of the underworld and the belly of the dead. It was then that Zeus married Medes and made her his first wife. And this, traveler, is the story of how Zeus and his 5 brothers ascended Mount Olympus. ruling existence for their own. Were you satisfied with what you heard so far, traveler? I can see that on your face. One tale for the night would be enough. We have all the time in the world. But the question still remains. Will you stay? Will you flee like everyone else? I guess we will wait and see. Only time can reveal all mysteries.